There's a feeling many of us have known, the quiet, gnawing doubt that asks, am I worth anything at all? This is a story about a boy who asked that very question, and the answer his father gave him, without a single word of explanation. His name was Eli. He lived in a small village tucked between rolling hills and dusty roads, the kind of place where mornings smelled like wood smoke and evenings turned the sky into fire. Eli was 10 years old, but he carried questions far older than himself. He would sit alone by the old fig tree at the edge of the village, watching the other children play, not because he was sad, but because his mind was always somewhere else, turning things over, wondering, why do some people seem so sure of themselves, and others spend their whole lives unseen? One evening, as the sky melted into shades of orange and gold, Eli sat beside his father on the worn stone steps outside their home. The air was still. The whole world seemed to be listening. "Father," he said softly, "what is the value of my life?" His father did not answer right away. He looked at his son with quiet, careful eyes, then reached down and picked up a small stone from the ground beside the step. It was not beautiful, not shiny, not colorful, just an ordinary, dusty, unremarkable stone, the kind people step over every single day without a second thought. His father turned it slowly in his hand. Then he placed it gently into Eli's palm and closed the boy's fingers around it. "If you truly want to know your value," he said, "take this stone to the marketplace tomorrow. If anyone asks what it costs, do not speak. Simply raise 2 fingers." Eli looked at the stone, then at his father. He was confused, but he trusted him completely. The next morning, Eli walked into the village marketplace. The air was alive. Vendors calling out their prices, children laughing and weaving between carts, the smell of spices and warm bread drifting from every direction. Eli stood quietly near the entrance-door, holding the stone in his open palm. After a while, a woman passing by glanced down. "Oh, that's a pretty little stone," she said casually. "How much do you want for it?" Eli remembered. He said nothing. He raised 2 fingers. The woman smiled. $2? Sure, I'll take it." Eli's eyes went wide. He pulled the stone back and ran home as fast as his feet would carry him. "Father!" He burst through the door, breathless. "A woman just offered me $2 for the stone." His father nodded slowly, as if none of this surprised him at all. "Good," he said. "Now go to the museum, show it there, and remember, say nothing, only raise 2 fingers." Eli set off again, bewildered but curious. The museum was cool and grand, high ceilings, polished floors, glass cases holding ancient things from distant centuries. Eli wandered slowly through the halls until a tall, well-dressed man stopped and looked at what he was holding. "What do you have there, boy?" Eli held the stone out. The man took it carefully, turned it over, examined it under the soft golden light filtering through the windows. "This is quite interesting," he said. "How much are you asking?" Eli raised 2 fingers. The man nodded thoughtfully. $200. That seems fair. I'll buy it." Eli stood completely still. Yesterday, $2. Today, $200. He grabbed the stone back gently and ran all the way home again. "Father, $200! Someone offered me $200! His father smiled, just slightly. "One last place," he said. "The precious stone shop at the end of the old quarter. Do exactly the same." Now, burning with curiosity, Eli hurried through the winding streets to the finest stone shop in the village. It was a small, hushed place, gems glittering quietly behind thick glass, the faint scent of polishing cloth in the air. An old jeweler stood behind the counter, bent over a magnifying glass, turning a sapphire slowly in the light. Eli stepped forward and placed the stone on the counter without a word. The jeweler glanced at it, and then he froze. His hands moved slowly, almost reverently, as he lifted the stone. His eyes narrowed, his breathing changed. Where did you get this?" he whispered. His voice was not casual anymore. It was full of something, awe, disbelief. the weight of a lifetime of searching. "This is an extraordinarily rare stone," he said quietly. "I have spent 40 years looking for something like this." He looked up at Eli, urgent and serious. "How much do you want for it?" Eli, slowly, raised 2 fingers. The jeweler did not hesitate. $200,000, he said, "and I would consider myself fortunate to have it." Eli could not breathe. He picked up the stone, held it tight against his chest, and walked home, not running this time, walking slowly, thinking. His father was sitting in the doorway, waiting. "Father," Eli said, his voice barely above a whisper. $200,000. His father looked at him for a long moment. Then he spoke. "My son, the stone did not change." Eli stood very still. It was the same stone in the marketplace, in the museum, and in the jeweler's hands. The stone never became more, and it never became less. What changed was the place where it stood, and the eyes that looked at it. He placed his hand gently on Eli's shoulder. "Your life is the same, Eli. Some people will look at you and see very little. Some will see some potential, but a very few, will see your true worth and recognize it completely. That is not a reflection of what you are. It is only a reflection of where you are standing and who is doing the looking." Eli looked down at the stone in his palm. He had been holding it this whole time, without knowing what it was. "Do not shrink yourself for places that cannot see you," his father said softly. "Do not let the opinion of one marketplace become the measure of your life. Go where you are known. Go where you are seen. Go where the right eyes can finally look at what you carry and call it what it truly is." That night, Eli sat under the old fig tree again. The stars were out. The village was quiet. He opened his hand and looked at the stone, small and plain and ordinary to anyone who did not know. And for the first time in his life, he did not feel invisible. Many of us have spent years in the wrong place, waiting to be seen, offering our work, our love, our ideas to people who simply did not have the eyes to recognize them, and we walked away, believing the problem was us. But here's what this story asks us to remember. Your value does not change depending on who sees it. It was never theirs to give, and it was never theirs to take away. The question is not whether you are worth something. The question is, are you standing in a place worthy of you? Find your jeweler, find your right place, and trust what you carry.